there were two kings who were about to go to war. And one of the kings, he looked, both of their armies were ready to face each other. And one king, he thought, listen, why am I going to send all of these thousands of men to their death? And he's sending all these thousands of men. He said, I'm going to go talk to him. Well, all of his advisors said, don't go talk to him. He'll kill you. But he said, you know what? If I die, at least all of these thousands of men won't die. I want to seek to work out our differences. So the gods, it said, were so moved by this compassionate king's gesture that they gave him an amulet of invincibility. And so he started to walk with this amulet of invincibility around his neck. And he started to walk through the army to the other king's castle. Well, the fearful king, he saw this and he said, oh no. So he starts having his men attack. And they were firing arrows at this compassionate king. But that amulet of invincibility, it protected him. They would swing swords at him, try to stab him, but all to no avail. He walked right through their army. He walked right to that fearful enemy king. And when he got to that king, and that king saw that there was nothing he could do to harm this compassionate king, he said, I am so sorry. He said, I am so sorry for what I did. I apologize with all of me. I want to work out our differences. And the compassionate king, he looked at him and he was so powerful, so strong. He said, you know what? I forgive you. Let's work out our differences. You see, the fearful enemy king, that's our ego. And the compassionate king, that's our essence. And the army, the soldiers, those are our defense mechanisms. You see, the defense mechanisms constantly work to protect the ego because the ego is so afraid. And once the essence, which is that compassionate king, once the essence of who we are gets to ego, when ego sees there's nothing left it can do, it can't overwhelm essence, then in that moment, it's ready to humble itself and learn. And how many of us in our lives held fast to whatever we believe, defended whatever we did, until it got to a final moment when we really did have to pay the piper. And in those moments, now we were ready to humble ourselves. And think about how frequently ego gets in the way of peace. How often our ego gets in the way of our truly experiencing peace. Because all the pleasures of ego, being right, telling other people how they're wrong, all of that stuff, those pleasures of ego, those are temporary. Those are coming and going. But when we can satisfy, satiate, tap into essence, that's joy. That's the essence of being. And so we know this too. Those soldiers that are protecting ego, it's not just for ourselves, it's for others. So imagine you go to approach others and you come from a place of essence. You won't allow yourself to be harmed by those defense mechanisms. That amulet of invincibility, what that actually is the knowledge, the wisdom to understand that other people's defense mechanisms, they can't hurt us. So maybe someone lashes out and says this or that. It all comes from a place of insecurity, of fear. And when you approach people with overwhelming compassion, when you approach them from the divinity within, from that essence of who you are, their egos can't hurt you anymore. So you have the knowledge of you can approach others with that type of essence and watch the interaction. And you have also the wisdom to understand that your defense mechanisms, they cannot stop your essence from finally breaking through to your ego if you really want to. So think about this. It's a powerful story, but visualize your essence. Visualize your essence confronting your own ego. And since it's just you and you alone will know if you're able to really push yourself with that. But that's going to mean challenging things that you feel really certain about. That's going to mean challenging things that you feel like are absolute truth and is unquestionable. It's going to mean leading with a tremendous sense of humble curiosity. And that's with yourself. And then also think about leading with your essence as you interact with others. And when others throw ego at you, you're mindful not to take it personally, because it's not about you, and their defense mechanisms cannot hurt your core of who you are, your essence. I hope this story helps. It's a lot to think about, but I hope you take the time to think about it and reflect on it to live as best as you can from your essence. Until next time, as always, I wish you much peace.